Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Fairfield Council Budget Workshop, session number 1 on this day of May 7th, 2026. At this time, may I get a approval of the agenda? Been motioned and second that the agenda be approved. If there's no question, prepare to vote. All in favor? Let the record show 6-0. Now we have invocation by Councilman Gadsden.
Let us pray. Most gracious and everlasting Father, Father, thank you for this day that you give us, Father, a day that we'll never see again. Father, thank you for the health and strength that you give each and every one of us. And Father, thank you for the people that's here today to present us to Fairfield County and make it a little better, Father. And just come in and help this meeting so we can do everything that's pleasing and willing in your name. These blessings we ask. Amen.
Thank you for that. Now we go to outside agencies request. Mr. Carpenter, if you would, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Today we are again doing the outside agencies, and then following that we would be doing hospitality and A&H funds. I'm going to request that we're going to go down in order to the best of our ability. If people aren't here, then we'll move on and put them in after the fact. We have had a couple requests because of timing and scheduling. So is the library here? Okay. Gene, is the English district here? Okay. Then we'll move straight into the organizations themselves. On the first one, we have for DSS, the child foster, Kermisha Golden. Is Ms. Golden here? Okay. Next one we would then is Good Samaritan House. Is Good Samaritan House here? Okay. Health Department. Okay, thank you.
Budget liaison for the Fairfield County Health Department. So our request was $45,200. So at the Health Department, our mission is to protect, promote, and improve the health of well-being of everyone in Fairfield County. So we do that through immunizations, through the WIC program, preventive health services, maternal and child health services, things of that nature. So our request is pretty similar to our previous request, $23,500 to support the salaries of 2 employees there at the health department, and those are partial salaries. And then the fringe associated with those, some basic office supplies, and then basic contractual services to meet the needs of the staff there at the health department. So be glad to answer any questions if there are any.
Any council members with any questions?
If I may ask one, how much is the county required to support by law? I know statutory requires us to provide certain expenses to you. Do you recall off the top of your head how much that is?
So I don't know what the statutory amount is, but I believe, we're supposed to maintain our financial situation relative to other departments. So if there's a general cut, then ours will be cut the same way. I know the building, I think, is statutorily required, but beyond that, I think it's just maintaining kind of status quo.
Mr. Gobach.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So what are your total sources of funding, and what percentage roughly does the county represent of all of that funding?
So, so we get a lot of federal funding at the health department, primarily to support our WIC program and our maternal and child health program. Percentage-wise, I would say the county probably supports 5 to 7% of our allocated budget that goes towards Fairfield County.
And I didn't have time to read this whole thing, but your organization promotes access to high-quality healthcare services, protecting the health of the state by monitoring and assessing data trends. So just give me a feel for what, specific services are provided by this organization.
So Women's Infant and Children, known as the WIC program, is our largest program that we do. Serves mothers as they're going to deliver babies and then into the first couple of years after the babies are delivered. We also have other maternal and child health services that support those families. Childhood immunizations are a big thing, especially with schools. We also do some adult immunizations as well. Family planning services to prevent pregnancies is something we do, as well as sexually transmitted infection prevention, TB control, things of that nature.
Thank you.
You said that you have 2 employees?
This budget supports a portion of 2 employees.
Okay, and this would, $23,000 would probably represent, you say, like about 5% of that salary?
Probably closer to 10% of those individuals, yes, sir.
What is your total budget for the year?
So I work kind of as a regional liaison serving 12 counties, so I think, 25 million is kind of the budget we deal with among the 12 counties. I think Fairfield is maybe 2 million of that, federal, state, and the local sources that we get from the county.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, next up would be the Board of Disabilities and Special Needs. Anyone here? Thank you.
Good afternoon. What I brought with me today is just a folder that has a copy of our latest newsletter, a copy of our agency brochure, and just some of the talking points that I have for today, just for your information. And just to let you know a little bit about our agency, we serve people with intellectual and lifelong developmental disabilities. We've been in existence for over 40 years, and I've been with the agency for 36 of those, so I've been here quite a long time. But on behalf of our agency, I would like to sincerely thank Fairfield County Council for your continued support and partnership in serving individuals with special needs throughout our community. Your investment has helped us expand opportunities, promote independence, and improve quality of life for the people that we serve. We are requesting $55,000 this year. That's an increase over our last appropriation of $44,550. Basically, the funding that we receive from Fairfield County Council, we use for transportation-related expenses that's tied to our day program. That's people coming from the community to job opportunities and/or day services within our agency. And of course, as everyone is aware, fuel cost, and that's driving other costs as well, so everything is increasing significantly due to that. I just also would like to let you know what some of our major accomplishments and growth have been over the past year. We completed phase 1 on a 5-acre park that's located directly behind our day program building. Some of you have actually been out to see our park. I would like to extend that invitation to the rest of you all to come out and take a look. the park was dedicated actually last month. We're extremely excited to have that. It's exclusively for the use of the people that we serve and for our staff, and it's to promote steps to your health for physical well-being as well as emotional well-being. We're very proud of that accomplishment. The next thing that we've accomplished over the last year is we've expanded services in our residential area to include 2 new supervised living settings, serving an additional 4 people. And that's in addition to 10 community training homes that we have that are all in Fairfield County, and really all of them are located in the town of Winsboro. Each of those models serve 4 people with disabilities, but we have folks with varying levels of abilities and folks that wanted increased independence. So we listened to their request, and the new supervised living models basically allow the folks to live independently with the support of staff help, coming and going, but there's not a staff there 24/7. We were not able to find locations to purchase right off, so we leased 2 locations. But we've recently purchased a house on Drayton Street, and we have another contract for a house on Oak Street. So our plan is to discontinue one of the leases and eventually discontinue the second one. But within the next couple months, we will be increasing our service in that program by 2 people. So that will bring the total of folks that we serve in residential programs to 46, and we have about 65 folks that are receiving day program services. Just also, we try to have community participation and advocacy. We want people to know who we are, what we're doing out there, to make our agency visible and our folks visible. Some of the things that we've had over the past year is an annual talent show. For those of you that came, I hope you enjoyed it. If you've never been to one, I really hope we'll see you next year. It's an awesome display of talent, and it really leaves you feeling warm and fuzzy. We do a golf tournament every year to raise additional funding for our agency, and that has brought in anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000. This is our 14th year doing the golf tournament. We had a Valentine's soiree for the folks that we serve. We had a group to attend Disabilities Advocacy Day at the State House. We had folks participate in the Fairfield Behavioral Health Services 5K Run Walk, and we had a group to participate in the Tim Tebow Night to Shine. And we always appreciate any time we have an opportunity to partner with other county agencies. We have collaborated some with the Fairfield County Council on Aging, and also we greatly appreciate the support of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Department, who helped us tremendously with the winter storms that we experienced this year. They helped provide transportation that ensured that we had no interruption in services, and we always appreciate the support from Fairfield County with employment opportunities as we continue to maintain the enclave with janitorial for the Fairfield County Health Complex, and the work that we do operating the Jenkinsville Recycling Center. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have for me.
Any council member question? Mr. Pauly?
I don't have any questions, just a statement. Ms. Collins, I want to say thank you for your dedication to Fairfield County and this organization, and also congratulations on the recent dedication to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yeah, I'll ditto that. I congratulate you on your years of service to Fairfield County and the work you do in this department. And you've been there almost as long as the department, so that's outstanding, and we appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, Ms. Collins, echo the congratulations on your longevity and what you've done. As the ex officio member, I've been attending the board meetings, so I've learned an awful lot about your organization. It does a lot of good. Regarding your request, the vast majority, you mentioned the transportation for the day program, and I assume that's what the vehicle repairs and the insurance would help support.
Right.
But the bulk of that request is for supplies, and that's very general. So can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, that's fuel. That is fuel cost.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is anybody representing Columbia Area Mental Health here?
Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Wilkins. Oh, is that better? Okay. My name is Elizabeth Wilkinson. I'm the Chief of Staff with Columbia Area Mental Health Center. I'm here today with Dianetta Redenberg-Newton, who is the Fairfield County Mental Health Center Program Director. Columbia Area Mental Health Center is one of 16 mental health centers across the state under the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, formerly known as the Department of Mental Health. And we serve residents of both Fairfield and Richland counties. We have a fully operational outpatient mental health clinic here in Fairfield County called the Fairfield County Mental Health Clinic. It is located at the 321 bypass across from the high school. It operates Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, and provides a wide range of mental health services. The clinic has a program director, Ms. Redenberg-Newton, an administrative staff, 2 qualified mental health professionals. We also have a psychiatric registered nurse, a child psychiatric nurse practitioner, and an adult psychiatric nurse practitioner at the clinic. The services that we provide can include things like mental health assessments, psychiatric medical assessments, individual and family therapy, and crisis intervention services. We offer these services at the clinic as well as in the schools that we're placed in. We've worked closely with community partners in Fairfield County, such as MUSC Fairfield Emergency, Fairfield Behavioral Health, DSS, and the Detention Center. We work to provide collaborative services with these partners as needed and may include ongoing referrals, follow-ups, and linkage services. Additionally, we work with the Fairfield County Probate Court as needed on behalf of patients who need emergency care or hospitalization. Our services are available to the residents of Fairfield County as mandated by state law. In addition to the services that we offer patients at the clinic and at the schools, our center also operates a mobile crisis team that can respond to any behavioral health crisis in the community with an on-site mental health intervention to prevent problems within the community. This mobile crisis response team is available any day of the week, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is available to all residents of Fairfield County, regardless of whether or not they're patients of ours. Last calendar year, the Fairfield County Clinic serviced approximately 419 patients, which resulted in 3,893 mental health services provided to them. These services were provided primarily to ensure overall psychiatric stability for these patients. This is an increase in the number of patients from the previous year. We also assist as needed with patients who have other social determinants of health, including things like housing needs or assistance with utilities. We provide services to all patients regardless of their ability to pay or their insurance status, and we can offer a fee reduction of up to 99% for patients who qualify. Our school mental health counselor primarily works out of the high school and middle school, but has also visited 6 schools in the county where her services had been needed. She can provide on-site screening and assessment, as well as ongoing therapeutic services when that's applicable. We are asking for $99,400 to assist with the salary and fringe of our mental health workers who are dedicated to the Fairfield County residents. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Cook, yes.
Ma'am, what is your total budget for Fairfield County other than this 99?
So we don't have a specific budget for Fairfield County. It is all kind of combined with our Columbia Area Mental Health Center budget serving Richland and Fairfield. And last year that budget was right around $21 million. We do expect it to come down a little bit with the merger between our offices, the Office of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities and the Office of Substance Use Services. We expect a little bit lower budget in the next year.
So what is the turnaround time on getting a bid for a subject now? Because it used to be hours. What is the turnaround time now?
So while we can assist with inpatient hospitalization, we don't necessarily kind of have the authority to admit somebody. We do all outpatient services. Emergency beds we're usually able to get fairly quickly. It's the long-term hospital beds that do still have quite a wait.
Thank you.
Mr. Root.
You said you served 419, and that's an increase of, how many did you say over last year?
In the previous year, it was in the high 300s.
Okay. So these are, I guess, mainly repeat, if you, the same, I mean, a lot of the same.
Correct. Most of our patients will come in for therapy services multiple times per month. We'll see a psychiatric nurse practitioner every 3 months. So of those 400, most of them are seen multiple times per year, some multiple times per month.
With this salary, is this based off of your Fairfield County employees, or it's a total of all the employees with the agency?
It's based off of Fairfield County employees, but our pay structure is the same across both counties that we serve.
Okay. How many employees is in Fairfield?
In Fairfield, we have our clinic director, we have 2 mental health professionals, an administrative staff, 2 nurse practitioners, and a psychiatric nurse, so 7.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Mr. Goldwasser.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So it's a pretty substantial increase from last year's budgeted amount, which was $56,700. Why that large increase, and how much fund? Yeah, I assume you get most of your funding from the federal government. So what, approximately what percentage does this request represent? I guess out of 21 million, it's a small percentage. But,
Yeah, I
but
can't.
why the big increase from last year's?
I think last year we asked for around the same amount, and the 56 was what we received. Asking for a larger amount again this year because, again, we expect some budget cuts with the merger between state agencies.
Okay.
So, ma'am, if I may, on that issue, so basically the $70,000 would be salary increases for the dedicated Fairfield County employees.
Yes, that money would go to the salaries of those employees,
Is the
yes.
state, when the state talks of raising, would that also affect you? So if the state's talking at 2% for state employees, would that be something that would also be affected for you?
Correct. If we get a 2% raise from the state, our Fairfield County employees get that 2% as well.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, the next would be our behavioral health services.
Good afternoon, Chairman Gilbert and council members, administration. We appreciate you allowing us to be able to have another opportunity to present our budget this year. My name is Vernon Kennedy Sr. I'm the executive director at Fairfield Behavioral Health Services. And this year we have 2 parts to our request, as we've typically had in the last couple of years. Just a little bit about our organization. I know you have information. I know we have limited time here, but we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that has consistently been determined to have fiscally sound stewards of our finances, which has been evidenced by our annual audits that we get each year with no findings, by also our financial services reviews that we get from our single state authority, which is the Office of Substance Use Services, formerly the Department of Alcohol and Other Drug Abuse Services, as well as United Way in becoming a certified community partner organization. And lastly, also by our accreditation body, which is the COF, which stands for the Community Commission on Accreditation for Rehabilitation Facilities. So just want to kind of point that out a little bit. We do have about 13 employees, 2 that are part-time, 11 that are full-time, and we have a few contractual workers as well. The 2 parts to our request this year involves a $60,000 request that we're asking for to support 4 areas of our services that involve what they've traditionally been involving, which is community-based treatment, which is confidential treatment services for adolescents and adults, as well as DUI relicensing, prevention services that we provide in all of the schools in Fairfield County, to include our public schools, charter school, and our private school, and then, of course, case management and peer support services. And so there's a lot of data, outcomes, and impact to Fairfield County that was highlighted in our report. Just a few things I want to share. We've served approximately in FY25 approximately 225 unduplicated clients in the county, and I will add that almost every year there's about 6% of that are new clients, which is really good for our county, being one of the smallest in the state. We serve about 1,521 citizens in our prevention services, and that's a gamut of things, from evidence-based programs that we're teaching in the schools to presentations at schools, churches, businesses, what have you, or even events that we're having in the community. We have a lot of other outcomes that we put out as well. We got our 3-year reaccreditation process last year. We had an annual audit that was really well, again, last year. And then, of course, when we look at some of the data that we put out or that we capture from events that we put on, programs that we put on, satisfaction surveys that we provide for our clients and our partners, we have a high degree of satisfaction of the quality of services that we're providing. So that is pretty much the gist of our outcomes. There's a lot more that I could share with you, but we won't have enough time to do that, as well as all of the positive changes that we see in all the programs that we're providing to our young people. Part 2 of our request is, as we've had in a couple of years, is a forgiveness of our 25-year no-sale facility loan, which is $500,000 that we were able to get from the county to leverage the funding that we were getting from the state when we constructed our facility in 2018. And so we would certainly love the county to be able to consider forgiving that loan. That would be very beneficial to us. It's been about 8 years since we built the facility, but bottom line, it is on our books, it's on our financial statements, and it's as a liability, and I'm sure it's also on the county's financial statements as well. One of the things that we advocate, the board of directors and I have 2 board members here with me today, Mr. Brian Bonds, who's back here as my chairman, and Ms. Wilhelmina Robinson. We've talked about this pretty much all the time, and we would love for the county to really consider doing that, because, as I said, it would be quite advantageous for us. We have no desire to dissolve the agency. We've been around for over 50 years, particularly as the sole authority for providing substance abuse services. In fact, we are having exploratory conversations with different entities to expand some of our services. And so I can't really go into a whole lot of detail now because, as I said, we're talking about that with certain entities. I will tell you the entities, which is the Department of Health and Human Services and actually the Department of Mental Health. And so we're looking at that, and just to kind of recap, our request is $60,000 for our annual, to support our annual budget, and then, of course, the no-sale facility loan, forgiveness of that loan. So I'll certainly answer any questions that you may have.
Anyone? Mr. Paul. Mr. Kennedy, I'm going to repeat myself. Like I said earlier, I appreciate your dedication and your years of service to Fairfield County. You do an amazing job at behavioral health service. I was ex officio for 10 years and saw firsthand what the agency does, and I appreciate everything you do for Fairfield County and what your agency does for Fairfield County. Appreciate the board members being here today. I know Mr. Bonds has been there for a while and the other board member, but just appreciate what you do on a daily basis, and I'm all in favor of your request.
Appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Mr. Kobach.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Kennedy, it was a pleasure to speak to you at Blair Day
Yes,
about
sir.
your opioid response initiatives. I've read some of the board meeting minutes from the past, and I just have related to financials.
Sure.
And then you show the net profit or loss year to date. For example, from June of last year, the May through May net profit or loss was $111,738 loss.
Sure.
And there's a statement underneath there. Mr. Kennedy stated that further analysis shows an estimated loss of $8,300.
Yeah.
So that's $100,000 less than the other number, but there's no detail there. Can you explain how that comes about?
Right. First of all, the board, when I became director almost 20 years ago, the board decided that they wanted that particular report rather than a profit and loss statement out of our QuickBooks. And so that's what I provided them. But I went a little step further to give them an analysis. A lot of the money that we get in through our office is through federal, state, private foundations, and all of them are on different reimbursement processes. As a result of that, when we do our report to the board, all of the expenses are correct, but the revenue is not correct because of those reimbursement processes, and particularly our single state authority, the Office of Substance Use Services. In the last 2 years, the process for them has changed because they're no longer doing the finances in-house, is doing it with the state's accounting services, financial services. And so that has also delayed some of the money that we get back for reimbursement. So that's why I do a further analysis as to what that money we know we're going to get, but we just not have received at that particular time in the reporting for that month. And so that's what that analysis looks like.
Okay, so make sure I understand three-way communication. It's basically revenue that hasn't been received but will
Absolutely.
be received. It's the
Absolutely.
delta there. Okay,
That's
thank you.
exactly what it is.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What is your total budget for the year?
Total budget for this year is $1,065,000, give or take.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
Yes, appreciate you very much.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, next up, we would have Solicitor Randy Newman with the 6th District.
Good afternoon. Thank y'all. Appreciate you having me. So, Solicitor's Office tasked with prosecuting any and all crimes occurring in this jurisdiction, including Lancaster County, Chester County, and Fairfield counties. I am elected to 4-year terms and just have filed for my 4th term. So this term runs out in January, so I will be on the I will be up in November. So what I'm asking for, guys, I have in my letter cost of living increase. If you guys give a county employee cost of living, I ask that you include my 6 full-time folks over here at the courthouse. That's what the other counties traditionally do for the folks that work only in that county. If they give a county increase, they do that for those folks. Other than that, I'm asking for $18,334, and that represents 1/3 of the cost of a program called Axon Justice. And what Axon Justice does, it is a law enforcement service. So all of our sheriffs have Axon Justice. They've had it for several years, and it is a way to transfer digital evidence to the solicitor, and then from the solicitor to the defense bar, and be the public defender or private attorney. When the sheriffs first acquired this program, they were told, and we were told, that the solicitor would have access. Last year, Axon came to me and every other solicitor in the state and said, pay up or we're cutting it off. If they cut it off, it is very detrimental to the way we work. Just for example, if we were to go to a major crime, you may have 10 officers out there. They all got body cams on. They may be on scene for a couple hours or more. So all that data has to be downloaded at the sheriff's office into Axon Justice. That takes time. But if we don't have access to Axon Justice, at that point, they then have to download it again onto some sort of disk or digital media to transfer over to my office. That, just for example, when I have to download something for a private attorney onto some sort of media, it could take, just one body cam could take overnight to upload. So this program is without it, it's going to cause the sheriff a tremendous headache in getting me the discovery that we have to have. I don't like the way Axon Justice went about it. I have made that clear to them, but I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place. And at this point, I believe I am the only solicitor in the state that has not signed the contract, and I have not done that because I asked for additional time to let this budget process see its way. So the cost of the package is, the basic package is $55,000 per year. So this is recurring money, and I just divided that by 3 so that each county gets 1/3. We didn't go for the premium package, which was $75,000. So we're at the basic level, and that's $18,000, and that's the full request. Happy to answer any questions you got.
Mr. Niblin, so what you're saying is so let's work on the sheriff's office. You and your assistant solicitors can download the body cams in office now instead of having it sent to you or something? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, once it is uploaded into their system, we have access digitally to it, and we can then send it digitally to whoever the defense attorney is.
So
If we lose access to that, it is going to be a nightmare.
And the $55,000 is for the Chester, Lancaster?
That is the cost to my office, $55,000.
For all 3 counties?
For all 3 counties, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carpenter, I might be misunderstanding, but on the request for his office, I see 179,045, if I'm looking at that correctly. But then on the line item sheet in the book, it's 647,767. Is that what is?
I can explain that.
Okay.
The 179 is the total ask for the year. Last year, it was 160. The ask for this year is 179. The 647 is the total that I spend on the 6 full-time employees and 1 part-time prosecutor in the Fairfield County office. That does not include office expenses or any of that. That's just salaries.
So that's what you spend?
That's what I spend on salaries, yes, sir.
Okay. And does that 179 cover the 55,000 that you're asking for, or a third of that?
That 179 does include the 18,344 that I'm requesting. So I'm asking for the 18,344 in addition to what I've been receiving.
Okay.
Solicitor Newman, if I may, just a couple of questions. In regard to requests for increases for cost of living, are you able to provide us like individual salaries so that we can do
I'll be happy to do that.
All right, thank you. Honestly, I don't know that counties I've worked before have done that, so that's something I'm not used to doing for a solicitor's office.
Sure.
I understand the dynamics there for that. On Axon, do you recall the terms under which that we entered into agreement with them as an organization?
I was not involved in that. That was done with and really it's take it or leave it. It's the only company that handles the body cams, the dash cams, all that stuff. And the sheriff gets a great benefit out of it because he's getting unlimited storage for all that data. So we talked about data centers this morning. That's
I just don't recall in discussions on Axon that ever was something that we were led to expect. It was always a great deal,
Sure.
great service, and now suddenly it's now that they've got us, suddenly it's is there any contract that limits their ability to do this to you or manages it to like cost of 3%?
There is not, and we've asked our Attorney General to look into it. We've asked our state office to look into it. Our state office did try to reach out to Axon to get some sort of state rate, some sort of reduction in rate. We were unsuccessful with that because, like I said, you're dealing with, there's 16 solicitors' offices in the state. Many of them had already signed those contracts, so we didn't have a whole lot of negotiating power.
When does it take effect?
Well, we were told we were going to get cut off in January this past year. So in January, I spoke with them and I said, hey, there's no way I can come up with this. You know, my budget fiscal year starts over. At least give me till then and let me try to seek these funds. And so they agreed to that. So my understanding is if we're unsuccessful in the budget process, that we'll then get cut off, I assume, July.
So basically, what they did is.
And it's a 3-year commitment.
Okay, so that's 18,000 a year for 3 years for this county.
But I mean, really, when I say recurring funds, I mean, I think it's going to be for the foreseeable future. I don't see us ever being able to cancel it unless some other company comes along.
Was this one of those cases where the state got involved initially and maybe funded us with grants to bring them in? I can't recall how Axon first came with body cameras.
I don't recall.
Okay. It seemed like there were some programs that the state paid all the costs for us, so it was very easy to get in.
Early on, there was some funding for body cams for law enforcement, but I don't use body cams myself, so I wasn't involved in that.
And not to debate over small amounts, but is it equitable to divide the 3 counties 1/3 each when we're the smallest by far?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right.
I have a question, with the raise, I mean, with the increase that you're asking outside of the access, does this a lot of going to our salary, am I right?
Say again.
I said, the 179,
Yes, sir.
is this majority of it going to salaries?
All, pretty much, you know, when I spend over 600,000 on salaries, I'm getting 179. So, I mean, you could say all of it goes towards salary.
The question I'm trying to get to is would this put you on track to be on average the same as other areas? What I'm asking is, are your employees underpaid compared to other areas?
I would say my employees are lower than some other areas. Now, my circuit is pretty much the same. So Lancaster, Chester, Fairfield, somebody works here, they get the same as somebody in Lancaster, but they don't get the same as people in Richland. They don't get the same as people in York. And I've included this per capita funding in my letter I sent, so you can see what the other counties provide on a per capita basis, also on a per warrant basis.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else?
Mr. Carpenter, I think that Fairfield County's hands are tied when it comes to this, because I don't see a way you could not do the 18,000 to take care of prosecuting cases in Fairfield County.
And Mr. Pauly, to that point, I had included in my initial draft budget, I had included funding that request. But I just think there's some questions about it that the council needs to be aware of, as well as some of the background, so.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Next up, we would have the Public Defender's Office, Mr. Frick.
Good afternoon. I'm William Frick. I'm your Circuit Public Defender. I'm in my 2nd term, my 5th year. I think this is about the 8th time I presented to Fairfield County, because my predecessor turned it over to me just before he left. So it's always a pleasure to come see y'all every year. Just so you're aware, like the Solicitor's Office, we cover 3 counties as well, Fairfield, Chester, and Lancaster counties. We are I tell young lawyers when I do presentations, we are the lawyers that they warn you about. And a couple of y'all up there know exactly what I'm talking about. When you get arrested, they give you what they call the Miranda warnings, reading your rights. And that's when they say, if you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. That's us. We handle about 75 to 80% of all the charges that are in general sessions court. Probably about half in magistrate's court. I don't really have the numbers on there, and the reason why we don't have as many in magistrate's court is that's where you have a lot of more unrepresented folks, and private bar comes in. They have a lot of the DUI business. We are certainly doing some of those, but we don't have nearly as much as the private bar does on that. My request this year is fairly simple. I'm asking for some salary increases. You see in there, I've broken it down. I've got 2 attorneys that work in Fairfield County, and I've got an administrative assistant, and I've got an investigator. With the attorneys, I'm asking for a step increase. So a few years ago, well, I can tell you 5 years ago, when I started, our starting salary was $49,000 a year. That has increased significantly. We now start out at $70,000 a year because that's what we have to do. Otherwise, all my lawyers are going to go to York County or Richland County. And believe me, there are, even though we get amongst ourselves and the 16 of us all agree we're not going to have bidding wars, we end up in bidding wars. So we instituted step increases, so you start at $70,000 and it increases each year, much like they do with teachers. And so those are the step increases I'm asking for the attorneys there, and then a 4% increase for my staff. And be perfectly honest, the reason why I'm asking for the 4% is twofold. One, I know this sounds weird and doesn't make any sense, and I'm happy to explain in another setting when we have more time if you would like to, but we have to have an administrating county for the money. The administrating county was set up before I began, and it's Chester. So all of my employees are technically Chester County employees, although 4 of them work at the Fairfield County Courthouse. That's what Chester is doing this year for employees, so that's why I'm asking for that. Additionally, y'all were great last year. You gave me the increase I asked for on salaries, but that had not always been the case previously. So I'm still trying to play some catch up because I had several years, about 7 to be exact, where I had to increase because increases were given, but they weren't given to me in my budget. And just to stay competitive and keep employees, I had to do that. So it's kind of a catch-up provision as well. So that's why I'm asking for that particular number.
Any question, counsel? Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Strick, if I may.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Again, I certainly do understand your dilemma when you've got multiple counties with different processes. The way we would look to be doing cost of living here, and I am looking to do cost of living, there have been, as you said, many years in this county did not do anything. And I'm appreciative of the fact that we're hopefully in a position we can do that. I don't know if we would be giving most county employees 4% either, however. So there may be a situation where, and I don't know if it would be fair to the solicitor's office as well or any other state agencies that receive funding from us. So if you didn't receive a 4%, but you received something, was that something that you would?
As long as I receive whatever you're giving the Fairfield County employees, that will be satisfactory.
Thank you.
Anything? Thank you all.
Do we have anybody from Midlands Tech?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Greg Little. I'm the president of Midlands Technical College. It's nice to be here today. I have with me Debbie Walker, our vice president of business affairs. So if we get too down in the weeds, I'm just going to call in a right-handed pitcher from the from the bullpen, and she'll help us out with some of the numbers as well. But I just wanted to tell you it's great to be here and great to be in Fairfield County. This is, I guess I'm still considered a new-ish president. This is the end of my second year. Saw Mr. Gilbert yesterday at our graduation ceremony. Thank you, sir. You're always a great attendee for that. Some of the feedback that I received early on in my tenure was that people wanted more engagement in Fairfield County with Midlands Tech. And so over the last couple of years, that's what we've been working on. One of the things that I want to brag on your county is that Fairfield County Schools typically punches above its weight when it comes to dual enrollment. It's one of our best partners in dual enrollment. I think they're among the gold standard of students taking dual enrollment. And if you just were at the graduation yesterday, numbers and numbers of students from Fairfield Central High School receiving some certificate or an associate's degree altogether. So it's a great benefit for the students here in Fairfield County. Also, over the last couple of years, we begin to increase our presence on the Fairfield County campus. Most of that work right now is in welding and in healthcare, but those numbers are obviously there's some other general studies taking out there as well, but most of them is in healthcare and welding. Among some of our upcoming projects, we are getting ready to upgrade the welding facilities in that building. That'll be a partnership, obviously, with y'all, but we're going to be working on upgrading those welding facilities. Certainly with the announcement of VC Summer coming back online and that continuing to be a priority. It is certainly a priority for us, but welding is one of our most popular programs. In fact, our welding program was full within the first 2 weeks of classes being open. So they filled up for both the summer and the fall. I always joke that welding is a bit like Chick-fil-A. You're never going to go broke when you open one of those. And so our welding students are very successful and they find very high-paying jobs very quickly when they graduate, actually even before they graduate Midlands Tech. But we're upgrading a welding lab. We've started an EMT course here for the first time, I believe, in about a decade. You'll have to go back and check my math on that, but when I was talking to people about how long it had been, that was sort of they felt like it had been long enough, but it felt like at least about a decade. And so we have a number of students going through an EMT course right now. That course ends sometime this summer, and we will be kicking off another cohort with EMT in the fall. So very excited about that. Our EMT program is one of the largest in the state, and we're glad that we can have those courses in Fairfield County so your students aren't having to drive all the way down to the airport campus to take those courses. And so we're excited to launch that program and then continue that program into the fall. Also, we are just beginning to meet with your new chamber president, and we'll be partnering with your chamber to help support small businesses here in Fairfield County. That's something we've done with some, like the Casey Chamber and some of the smaller chambers who have wanted to have conversations about how they can support their small businesses. We're very excited to do that and proud to do that and lend the resources that we have to support small businesses. You know, sometimes we talk about Scouts of the world, we talk about Michelin's and the big guys, but it's nice to help the mom and pops out too. So we're trying to serve all of those people in our counties. And like I said, we're excited to partner and continue to work with our small businesses as well. I think that's what I have on my notes. So you see our request is it going towards operations and about utilities, maintenance, those types of things, and that is our request.
Mr. Paul.
Got a question for you, probably two questions. Currently, as we end the spring semester, how many classes were offered at the Fairfield County Midlands Tech?
I counted it over the last 2 years, so I apologize. I didn't get the last number. We had 396 students enrolled over the last 2 years at the Fairfield County campus. I was going back toward 2024 is what I wanted to kind of speak to the history.
390?
396, yes, sir.
And you said the funding provides for, because I don't see a description, I know the county does most of the maintenance and everything on the building, so what does the 157,896 cover?
That goes to our operational budget of all of our campuses. The utilities, maintenance, repairs, those kinds of things.
How much of that is for this campus?
Say again?
How much of that amount is for this campus?
Well, we don't, that's not how we divide it out. We put it towards all of our campuses. Again, we'll be upgrading the welding facility, so that'll actually be a fairly significant increase to upgrade that welding lab. Those are rather expensive operations.
So you don't have separate accounts for each campus?
No, sir. No, we do one large budget for our operations budget. I believe I'm talking that correctly. Yes, sir.
Regarding the potential VC summer project, you mentioned welding. One question specific to that, plus the other trades that might be needed. Is the welding program set up such that they will be able to weld on a commercial nuclear power plant site? Because that's not like welding, a little yard statue or, some piece
Yes,
of
sir.
art.
Oh, it's correct. Absolutely. So we are actually at the same time, so from a larger picture perspective, so we're planning on upgrading the welding facility lab in Fairfield. We're also upgrading the welding facility lab in our airport campus as well. Outdoor welding lab as well as an indoor welding space, because the very thing you're talking about. When you're welding in a booth, it's a very controlled environment, and we have to make it a bit more challenging for people to get to the next level of their skill set. It is our hope that we are going to be alongside the construction timeline of VC Summer. We talked to our legislative delegation. They fast-tracked a legislative appropriation for us so we can expand that to make sure we have the capacity to put the welders in place. Our understanding is it will be between 5,000 and 7,000 people to actually construct the facility. And again, depending on who you talk to, between 5 and 7 years to do that. So right about the time they're starting to really hire people, we will be able to expand our capacity so we can ensure that local people get those jobs. But they'll be pulling welding people, it'll be all over the Southeast to get that many welders, but we want to make sure that the folks in our 3-county area have an opportunity to get those jobs, because it'll be very significant salaries, at least over the short term, the next 5 to 7 years.
Are you preparing for the other trades like electricians, health physics techs, instrument techs?
Yes, sir. So our welding expansion is taking place, as well as our building construction technology. Building construction technology is one of our most popular programs, as well as HVAC, electrical. All of our skilled trades, I'm proud to announce, all of our skilled trades will be full by fall. And then on top of that, our advanced manufacturing programs are also bursting at the seams.
So some of that will be added to this campus?
Say again?
Some of those skilled studies will be added to this?
Well, we're
campus?
upgrading the welding lab on that campus, yes, sir, for sure. We're also moving, as we partner with VC Summer, we'll be working on a nuclear operator program at our Northeast campus, which is close by as well. We have mechatronics at our Northeast campus. That's a significant need for Scout Motors, and as well as electric vehicle engineering.
So what is the total budget for Midlands Tech?
We're about $113 million last year. We're proposing to our commission this year about $119 million.
Sir, I've had every county, as you know, probably in South Carolina and most states, has some kind of either a branch campus or a main campus of a technical system. Most of the counties I've worked in through the years have been outlying branch campuses. And it becomes a struggle for small counties to maintain those campuses. And those campuses are critical to the county itself, to its future, to its growth, to its ability to keep its residents here. And obviously with VC Summer, and again, we certainly hope that's going to happen. We still don't know that, but we have to plan for that. But what I'm really hearing is that all the opportunity for development is in Richland County. And that's where all the investment goes, and that's great, but our students have to then drive every time. And so the question, I guess, that I will ask if council members, what is the plan for Fairfield County on the educational side through our school district or through the resources we have to actually provide benefits for our students, our adults in this county, so they don't have to drive?
Well, number one, first of all, there's a significant number of dual enrollment students in your high school. So we are offering a number of, through dual enrollment is probably our largest delivery method for Fairfield County and helping students out in high school. Again, historically, the feedback that I've gotten is that it has been tough to offer courses on that Fairfield campus because of lack of interest. Very often, students are actually interested in going into the other campuses for their experience. Batesburg-Leesville sort of falls into the same category there as well. I think for me, being the newer president, is that it's about a partnership and collaboration about what works best for Fairfield County. I consider us to have a moral obligation to serve all of our communities and to ensure that people have an opportunity to can thrive where they are, that they don't have to move someplace else to thrive. And certainly rural counties have a special place in my heart, having grown up in rural North Carolina. So, I mean, I think that's about a partnership and collaboration where we have to find the right mixture and partnership that works best. And I don't think we can assume that from Midlands Tech. I think we have to do that in partnership with Fairfield County.
Thank you, and I agree very much. I look forward to those conversations, but I would just plant in your memory that this campus is very important to us as part of who a community is. And when I've had a county that lost a campus, and unfortunately, if you ever have to start cutting costs, it seems it's easier to cut off the rural campuses in order to maintain your core. But this county is very committed to doing what has to be done to provide our own students. And, you know, a little selfish maybe, but if someone has to drive here on occasion, I don't know that bothers us because we always have to drive there.
That's right. We do have people, and we do have people that drive here as well.
And I would say that we, as a county that has a transit system, would be open to discussions of how to move students into our county so they can take courses if they don't have access to transportation. I'd also ask about the Fairfield Promise program.
Yep.
Can you kind of address that?
Yeah, so I think last year we received about $50,000 a year for the Fairfield Promise, and I think we spend about 43. I don't know. Well, hang on. Let me back up. We spend based on the number of the actual number of students that we receive up to $50,000 is how I should have phrased that. We don't receive the $50,000 and then we spend whatever and then we keep what's left over. We get up to $50,000. Last year we nearly spent in the entire $50,000. I think it was about $47,000 that ended up getting spent out of that. Again, huge benefit to students. I can't express enough how the power of the associate's degree through Midlands Tech in terms of the overall cost of higher education. The entire, higher education continues to increase. The price tag on that year over year is actually outpacing lots of expenses in our lives. And so having an associate's degree from Midlands Tech is a huge savings for them, as a huge savings for their families, because they're not having to invest that kind of money into higher education.
So can you actually go over what that covers as far as students are concerned, that money?
Yeah, it covers the tuition and fees associated with an associate's degree.
So would that be the same as in your report? You indicated it's like about $3,000 to go to in Richland County, about $2,000 if it's in county, so it would cover the full through it. I guess, how does that work?
I'm going to let Debbie jump in the actual per county stuff if you don't mind.
Good afternoon, Council Chair. So basically, our request, I'll just start with our request, okay? So it's $157,000. So what Fairfield does is pay the difference between the in-county rate and the out-of-county rate. So that means that your students from Fairfield County gets a discount on their tuition, okay? And so then the tuition for some of the Fairfield County students that are eligible for the Promise program is covered by the Promise funding. So it will pay the tuition fee, and I think some books may be covered as well.
And so that is for all students from Fairfield County?
That's for all students for the Promise program, all students who are eligible, but for any student in Fairfield County, they get the discounted rate. So that's what our request is for the students that we have already served. So actually, the budget is in the arrears. So we've already served those students that we're requesting the budget funding for today.
Thank you. And when you say students who qualify, because we have a number of new council members, could you explain who qualifies for the program?
I don't have all the guidelines, but I know that one thing, they have to be a resident of Fairfield County, and I think have graduated from high school within the last 2 years, I believe, 2 or 3 years. But I can send you a copy of the program, if you'd like.
So you're saying the 157, 896 covers the difference in between the in-state or in-county and out-of-county? That's the difference of what that covers?
Right, for the number of students that we serve from Fairfield County.
Okay, so if you take 157 and you divide it by $600, which is the difference, that means 261 kids per year from Fairfield County has to go to Midlands Tech.
The actual number we have this year is 258 that we served last year.
All right. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What courses are actually available at Midlands Tech here? What courses right now? Besides welding?
For the Fairfield campus?
It's primarily welding and healthcare.
That's it, 2 courses?
Well, I mean, there's
Well, it's
two
more.
areas of the courses, and then you have courses within that.
That's the question I had about your literature. How often do y'all send out your literature about your classes? Because I'm retired now, I probably want to do some welding, but I don't see the information coming from the Winsboro campus on when your classes are, what classes you offer. I will see every once in a while y'all send out something from Midlands Tech, Columbia, but I'm just wondering, how often do y'all send out anything for Fairfield residents? I know it might be a blanket thing, but for the Fairfield residents to know when classes start or ends, or we just have to look it up on the website, or what?
No, well, we send out, well, I know it's interesting to be the president and a person who gets all the materials too. My daughter goes to Midlands Tech. We send out quarterly all of the training programs and whatnot that we have. It should come out in a training guide. And so we do a lot of advertisement around that way, and we've actually expanded our advertising budget to get the word out. And of course, sometimes we used to kind of do it, you know, through the mainstream media with a commercial and those kinds of things, and now we push a lot of things to social media, a lot on your phone, Facebook, Instagram, all those types of ways to reach people as well.
So go to social media to find out when the classes start.
Yeah, and of course, we receive, we also send out the books, the training guides.
I've got a book, you know, you get it every once in a while. I'm just saying, do you Pacific do anything for Winsboro?
What we'll do,
Are you saying we advertise specifically in Winsboro for Winsboro? I don't believe we do that, no, sir.
separate.
Yeah, you don't, okay. Thank you.
And just want to go back to the courses that we offer here. We've offered English and math, psychology, public speaking, college chemistry, and geology.
But what's available right now?
Those are what we're teaching right now.
Right now, currently.
Okay.
How many students average per class?
Where, at the Fairfield campus?
Yeah, Fairfield.
They're not very large. Let's see, there's one with 20, one with
13.
13, some threes. Very often in the welding lab, you'll have multiple students taking multiple classes. So there may be 10 students in the class, but they're in 3 or 4 different classes, even though you got 10. So we try to, we couldn't offer a class, for example, if one person is taking one kind of welding class and that was the only person offered. So we combine a number of classes into one lab at one time. So you might have 10 students in the lab, but they are actually taking 3 different classes or 4 different classes.
And because of the type of programs, the welding, we have to keep those classes small so that the instructors will be able to, make sure that, the students are safe and are doing what is required.
Well, there will be other things besides welding out there, like iron workers and that sort of stuff. Are y'all going to expand to try to help people out at VC Summer?
So that's going to be a part of the conversation we're having currently. I guess it was Santee Cooper, but it'll eventually be Brookfield. And so that'll be conversations that we're going to be having with them this summer to talk about what it is that their needs are in terms of what they need produced and in what order. Oftentimes those programs are very expensive, and the hard part will be how quickly we can get that up and running, depending on how much opportunity there will be there. But we are very confident that the current things that we offer, they are going to hire lots of people in the skilled trades, lots of people in advanced manufacturing, lots of people in that entire area, is what they've expressed to us, at least early on in the initial conversations.
Dr. Little and Ms. Walker, I'd like to thank you for your presentation. I also want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your graduation on yesterday. It was really nice.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Thank
You're always welcome. That's one of our favorite things. And we get them out of there in about an hour and a half. That's the even better part.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'd have the Fairfield County Council on Aging.
Good afternoon, everyone, council members and administration. Thank y'all for letting me come and present on behalf of the Council on Aging. I am Angie Brewer. Most of you know me. I'm the executive director of the Council on Aging. I have been in the place, I'm in my 29th year there, so I've got a lot of knowledge of what's been going on. We've been around since 1972, and so we're pretty established in the community. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. But for today's request, we're requesting funds from County Council to support our operational infrastructure for this fiscal year 26-27. The funds that we are requesting from County will help us provide a wide range of services, such as our Meals on Wheels, our group dining programs, and for our county's over 60 population. We also do other programs such as transportation, homemaker services, activities, food distribution programs, and volunteer opportunities. So far this year, our services have reached over 500 seniors throughout the county. We anticipate those numbers to increase by the end of this year and will grow into next year. Currently, about 77% of our clients are over the age of 70. About 1/3 of our clientele reports being low-income households with incomes less than $16,000 a year, and 40% of those report living alone. So we serve a pretty vulnerable population. We have provided over 51,000 meals this year so far, and we expect to serve about 7,000 more by the end of June. The county's investment in the lives of its most vulnerable population reduces the food insecurity, decreases social isolation and loneliness among seniors, and provides the support to caregivers who are juggling jobs while trying to care for loved ones. That's a huge benefit that people don't realize. A lot of people have to leave their elderly loved ones alone while they're taking on different jobs. And just having something simple as not having to worry about what they're going to do to eat while they're away makes a huge difference in their households. While the cost and the demand for our services continue to rise each year, the Council on Aging is facing funding challenges from every front. The majority of our funding is provided through outside contracts. However, the county funds make up almost 10% of our overall budget. In FY 2024, our allocation was decreased to around $84,000, and it has remained unchanged for 3 years. Our request does not include any funding for salary increases or for any additional staffing, although both are greatly needed. Instead, we're requesting that the county grant us a modest 2.4% increase this year over last year's, which amounts to a total funds of $86,602. These funds will be used to support our continuing efforts to provide quality services designed to help seniors age in place by ensuring that our clients have a safe household, they're nourished, they're connected with their communities, and they're independent for as long as they possibly can be. I'd like to thank you all for your past and future support of the Council on Aging and what we do, but mostly thank you for the support that you provide to our aging community. If you got any questions, I'll be glad to help you.
Any questions, Mr. Rule?
I just want to thank you for all you do for our elderly, and I think it's a great service and very, very much needed, and appreciate all y'all do, and all the volunteers too.
Yes.
Same thing as well. Thank you for what you do for the agency and dedication to Fairfield County.
Thank you.
I did over everything they saying also. Anyone else?
Andrew, you still having problems with getting volunteers to Meals on Wheels?
Yes, sir. We currently have about 7 routes that are running daily in the Winsboro area, and we are running probably 2 to 3 of those by staff each day, so we don't have enough volunteers. We have a core group of about 60 volunteers that will use us during the month, but we need probably about 30 more to get us where we can run them all volunteer staff. So that's one of the reasons our costs continue to rise, because we're having to use staff to deliver these routes.
Well, thank you also for everything you do. When I was on your board, you did a great job, and I really appreciate what you do for the seniors, okay?
Thank you.
With the shortage, are you sending out notice and asking people to volunteer to?
Yes, sir. We have tried to do all kinds of different outreach efforts. What we have found is people can't volunteer like they used to. We used to depend on the retirement community to do a lot of volunteering, but people work a lot longer than they used to, and they're very busy, a lot more busy than they used to be, the retirees. So we have a lot of our people who are now working. There's just not the availability that there was here, and we don't have as many businesses here as in other counties that we can pull from those types of corporations to do like covering lunches for us. It's hard to find a group of volunteers.
But you keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Connor.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, somebody. How long does the average route usually take? If somebody wanted to volunteer, how many households do they go to, and how long do you think it usually takes?
It varies. We have some routes that are as little as 30 minutes, and you might visit 11 different houses. We have some routes that might take you 45 to 50 minutes, depending on if you want to chat a little bit with a senior while you're dropping the meal off. But no more. The routes have no more than 17 on them. So the stops, and the more volunteers we get, the smaller we can make those routes to make them shorter.
Okay.
But we have found we've had to kind of double up on some things just to make sure they get delivered.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone?
We was talking up here. I'm gonna challenge all my council members, see can we do 1 day a week for each one of us? So
That'd be beautiful. We can set you up. That's easy to do. Well, I'll be looking for your phone calls then. Thank you very much. Anybody need anything?
Thanks. Mr. Chairman, members of the council, next up would be Cooperative Health, Eau Claire Cooperative Health.
Good afternoon, Chairman and council members. I'm Dr. John Pearson, the new CEO of Cooperative Health. Our request before you today is really a request for a partnership to reopen the Jenkinsville and Ridgeway clinics that were closed in August of 2025 due to some financial pressures that Cooperative Health faced. And so this request is primarily for staffing at those locations, and it will allow us to reestablish affordable, quality health care in those communities. Over the last several weeks, I've had the opportunities to meet with both the Jenkinsville and the Ridgeway leadership to outline what this would look like. And I will tell you that the communities are enthusiastic in anticipating the return of these clinics to the site. So these clinics would support a physician, nursing staff, and clinical support staff to get these sites reopened. And I will say that, with the transportation challenges, with the challenges for daycare for families, driving to Winsboro to get health care, reestablishing those clinic sites in those communities will be a great addition to ensuring that the healthcare needs of those communities are met. Pending any questions.
Any questions, council?
Dr. Pearson, the 400, I'm seeing the 400,000 that you're asking for, that would kind of jumpstart both of them, or how would that work with the 400,000? How would that help you right now?
Sure. I will tell you that the plan would be to utilize these funds to staff both of those sites. So we're not asking for the funds to establish staffing at both of these clinics independently. These will cover these staffing requirements will cover both sites. We anticipate 2 to 3 days initially at the Ridgeway site and the Jenkinsville site. As the patient volumes increase, we could surge additional healthcare personnel to those locations to accommodate the request. And also, we can also use those staff members to augment the Winsboro Clinic because, as you know, to put nursing and providers in clinics is fairly expensive. And so we believe that this request would be a prudent use of funds to be able to staff both of those locations.
What about the buildings themselves? What condition are they in? What kind of funds would be needed to get those up to par?
Sure. Those buildings are ready to be occupied. They're fully equipped. We just need to put the staff back in there, give the federal government the proper notification that we want to reopen those sites. Our prediction is that if we receive these funds, we could be operational within 45 to 60 days. That will give us time to market the opening, put out notices to the community, do the things that need to be done to get awareness out, and we are fully supported and able to do that.
Thank you. I know I'm Ridgeway. I know the one in Ridgeway is sorely missed.
Yes.
And so I know there would be a lot of happy people to see it reopen. Do you know how many in the last a calendar year, how many patients were served in Ridgeway and also Jenkinsville? Both?
Sure. I will say within the county, we've had between 800 to 1,200 patients annually. That's individual patients and almost about 3,000 visits total. Each of those locations, because the community size is a lot smaller, a couple of hundred, I would say, visits. I can get the exact number for each site, but for the county, it's roughly between 800 to 1,200 patients per year. Yes, sir. Okay.
Ridgeway in 2025, prior to it consolidating with...
Lee.
Hey, I'm Lee Tamp, Public Affairs Manager for Cooperative Health. Prior to consolidating those sites into the Winsboro location in August of 2025, Ridgeway saw just shy of 1,300 patients, and the Lake Monticello site saw 558. In the previous year, when they were fully operational in the calendar year 2024, Ridgeway saw 1,226 patients, and Lake Monticello saw 905. In total, last year, our clinics combined served 4,232 patients. The previous year was 5,075.
Where did those patients go that didn't go to Winsboro?
The majority of them went to our sites in Columbia. Some went to the Newberry site, and others went to sites throughout Richland County. So we've got 22 sites across the Midlands in Fairfield, Lexington, Richland, and Newberry counties. And so our patients, the beauty of going to the cooperative is that we're a safety net facility, meaning that we see folks regardless of their ability to pay. And so folks know that they can come to us regardless of what their healthcare needs are and not be turned away because they don't have the economic means to support their healthcare.
If you were to receive this funding, would that open the door for additional funding? This be treated as a match, so does this leverage into more money that you would receive from the state or the federal government?
We're currently asking for additional funding. You know, most of our funding comes through grants through the state, but the federal government also provides about 70% of our annual budget. I will say that this amount that we're asking, we know that it's a significant increase from what we've asked for previously. But with the cuts to Medicaid, which is our primary funding source, and the cost of health care continuing to rise each year, we believe that this is a prudent and conservative number to ask for. And it will cost us more to operate these sites than what we're asking for, but we feel that this amount will be a good partnership with the county to show the commitment to the communities to get these sites reopened.
If you were to receive the funding and engage the plan that you're proposing, 2 to 3 days, would that be 2 days in Ridgeway, 3 days in Jenkinsville, so the same person would be working 2 different locations, or to be 2 different groups of people working 2 to 3 days?
It would not be 2 groups of people. It would be staffing. This would be staffing for both of the clinic sites. And so I think, you know, when we did this before, admittedly, we could have done it better. And so we think that this plan, to be able to get into these sites, see what the patient volumes are, because it's not beneficial to the community or to us to have providers sitting at the sites without seeing patients. So we believe that to go into this 2 to 3 days a week based on volume at each site, that will give us an indication of where the need is, and then we can surge additional healthcare staffing as needed. In addition, if that becomes a challenge, we can also flex that staff to the Winsboro site to augment, because we have staff coming and going all the time.
So because Ridgeway had a good bit more than Jenkinsville, 3 days a week in Ridgeway and 2 days a week in Jenkinsville is just a guess?
That's the initial assessment, yes.
And if this were approved and they were both reopened, would you expect next year's request to go back to a normal request as it has been in the past, in the 48?
No, sir, I think that number was
in the
way too,
ballpark.
I think it was way too low.
Right, but it would be.
I'm not saying that it will be 400 the next year. I think that this will be a good start to get us going in the right direction. And I think that depending on what the revenue looks like based on that, we'll be able to make a clear assessment of what the ask will be going forward.
Dr. Pearson, I went to Ridgeway Clinic once or twice now. Is this going to be for medical? Because when I went there, it was medical and dental. Is it still going to be the same or just medical right now?
Our intentions are to put medical, pediatrics, dental services, behavioral health, our full complement that we can fit in those sites. Those sites, those buildings are not as large as our facilities in Richland County. However, we believe that based on our community health needs assessment of what the community needs in Jenkinsville and Ridgeway, that we'll be able to put the appropriate services in that community that's needed, to include pharmacy.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Pearson, congratulations on your new position.
Thank you.
Dr. Pearson and I graduated together in 1989, and I don't think I have seen Dr. Pearson since then. So great to see you again, and congratulations on your new position.
I will say that it's great to be home after being gone for 30 years in the military, serving as a CEO across the country in other health centers. It's truly a blessing to be back in my hometown doing the work that I love to do. And so this is not just a business proposition for me. This is personal. My mother is a patient at the Winsboro Clinic. I went to middle school in this building, so this is personal for me. Thank you, Doug.
Boy, he decided to do something with his life.
Appreciate that.
Thank you so much, and congratulations
Thank
also.
you.
Appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
If and when VC Summer gets back up and running, will they be able to help you offset some costs because they can send off their whatever they need, somebody cuts their leg off or whatever, they would come to you, so they would be able to fund some of that?
Yes, ma'am. We've actually got meetings set up with them coming up. I was in Jenkinsville yesterday, meeting with the town council, and you know, if we could get drug testing from the nuclear plant, or if we can get physical exams, that would be fantastic. And so those conversations are being planned right now, and so it's clearly our intention to engage the nuclear plant.
Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Next up, we'd have the Railroad Museum. That's about it. No, they're not here.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, administrator, assistant administrator. I apologize in advance. I've been confined to my house for 5 days with bronchitis, and I escaped to come to this meeting, and I may not go back home. But I appreciate being here. My name is Pat Walker, and I'm on the Board of Trustees for the South Carolina Railroad Museum, but really my proudest title is being a volunteer with the museum. And the lady that spoke a few minutes ago about the difficulty in getting volunteers for delivering meals and all, we're having the same problem with getting volunteers at the museum to come and help us do all the things we need to do. But I really do appreciate being here. And the first thing I want to do is thank the council. I want to thank the Fairfield County Administrator's Office, the county government, and I also want to thank the citizens. I know most of them, a lot of them are not here, but that have helped keep the Railroad Museum active through the years and been a part, and we feel like we are a partner. We're known as the South Carolina Railroad Museum, and we're proud of that. And we had a resolution passed by the General Assembly making that official. But our home is Fairfield County, and we talk about that a lot as far as the history of railroading in the Southeast, the history of railroading in South Carolina, but primarily as it relates to Fairfield County, the opening of the quarries that operated and the use of the Rockton-Ryan Railroad for many, many years to bring those rocks to market, that stone to market. So we do appreciate your support. I hope that y'all have witnessed some real changes in the last 5 years. You know, it's hard for me to believe that the Railroad Museum was established in 1983, so we're in our 43rd year. We've had good years, we've had not so good years, but we finally, once we made it through COVID, we've bounced back from COVID and kind of growing as we had hoped to through our business plan. And I think you've seen the results of some of those changes over the last couple of years. We recognized as a board, we recognized as volunteers that we needed to have some additional investments coming into that museum to make it more attractive than it has been in the past. And Fairfield County, through a variety of funding mechanisms, has been a large part of that and has driven a large part of that. So for that, I'm very thankful. You've seen examples of the growth with the covered shelter down at Greenbrier, the painting of our buildings. It doesn't mean much to y'all, but bringing in 480-volt power, industrial-grade power down to Ryan has allowed us to run some cars through there to evaluate them for their electrical circuits, heating and air conditioning, those kind of things, so that as we finish construction of our power car, which is an ongoing process, but then we'll be able to run year-round with some of our bi-levels, and we think that that's going to be a big boon to the county and to folks coming to ride the train. I want to say one thing, and then I'll touch on our budget real quick. I got kidded a lot a few years ago when I first came to the museum that we were not a museum that was, you know, a primary destination museum. We are not Great Smoky Mountain Railroad. We are not some of these other high-powered tourist railroads around the country. And doggone it, in the last 2 years, we've had citizens from just about every state in the Northeast and across central part of the United States that have told us that they drove to South Carolina not to go to Charleston, not to go to Myrtle Beach, but to come to the Railroad Museum. And it has floored me, and it has also shut me up in terms of talking about us not being a destination museum. People are recognizing the history that we share. They're recognizing the type of museum that we have, and we appreciate that. And I hope that's benefiting Fairfield County. We think it's benefiting Fairfield County. With respect to our budget appropriation request for 26-27, we're asking for the same thing that we've asked for the last number of years, and that's $30,000. We spend about $150,000 on our 5 miles of track that we run over right now a year on maintenance. And so if you divide it up, we kind of take that $30,000 that we get, we dedicate it to the first mile for the most part of the museum's track coming off of the Norfolk Southern line, because that's where cars are brought in. That's also Norfolk Southern. We have an agreement with Norfolk Southern. They still have trackage rights if they want to come in. And when Guardian Industries was here, of course, they utilized that switch down there, which is about a mile off of by rail, off of 34. We continue to maintain that. It hadn't been used in a number of years. We'll see what the future brings with respect to that, but we try to keep that part of the track I don't want to say any of our track is not kept up to standard, because it certainly all is, and the Federal Railroad Administration will verify that. But we try to go the extra mile if we can in that first mile, and that's where that $30,000 request for it would come in, and we've got it broken down, probably about $16,000 to $18,000 that'll be spent on track. Ballast, tire replacement. Tires don't last like they used to. You can't use the creosote like you used to. And so we're swapping out with composite ties, and in some cases concrete ties. We use part of that for some maintenance on our locomotives and on our rail cars, and then our other equipment. And you might ask what that other equipment is. It's things like our ballast regulator. It's things like our motor cars to do track inspection, spraying for weeds, things like that up and down the track, and just maintaining the track. And then a little bit of work on the grounds, which is primarily related to safety and security. So again, we're coming to you with a request for $30,000, and would be glad to answer any questions related to that or any other questions you have. Thank you.
Mr. Paul.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, no, I just want to thank you. I appreciate all of you and all the people that help at the Railroad Museum. I think it is a destination. I have a hardware store in Ridgeway, and I have people coming here all the time and from all over the place, and where y'all from, where you going, and they're a lot of times they're going to the Railroad Museum, taking their kids, and that's just outstanding. I think it's a great tourism draw for the county, and y'all done an outstanding job, and I think that's a modest request. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. We did 23 special charter trains last year. In fact, we've got one tonight, which is a men's dinner club out of Columbia, coming to ride our train and have a barbecue dinner. They're leaving at 6:30. I think they're full, though, so I don't know if you'll have a chance to jump on that train. But we've already got 31 special charter trains requested for this year. So we're ahead of where we were with the 23 for last year, so thank you. One other thing, and I know this has affected Ridgeway, Kelly Tours has really kind of beefed up their tourist program coming up through here, going to Ridgeway, making a day of it, coming to Winsboro, coming to ride the train and all that, and we're trying to build that relationship as much as we can.
Thank you for what you do for the museum. Just want to put on the record to make sure this weekend, Wings and Wheels Festivals, we're doing free train rides.
We're doing a free train ride at 2 o'clock. We try to partner with the community. Last week we did when they had the museum day, museum crawl, which when I was confined to my house and couldn't help, but we had the museum crawl. We didn't have a huge number of people. I think we rode 55 last Saturday. This Saturday we're supporting Wings and Wheels. We'll run a train at 2. The chamber has been very proactive in getting transportation back and forth with the airport and the museum. And last year I think we rode around 160 or so as part of that effort. And then we will have our Salute the Veterans train on the 30th of May. Now that's the weekend after Memorial Day weekend, but we found that that's a better weekend for us to do that. So those are 3 trains that are all free rides that we're offering for people to come.
Mr. Carpenter, can we make sure that that's posted on our website, that people's aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Did you get your track switched?
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this is more of a question for Mr. Carpenter. Would this be applicable use of A&H tax funds?
Well, Ms. Goldbach, as soon as we're done with this part, then I'm just going to ask them to go ahead and roll into that part, of which there's a much larger request coming to the council for A&H funds.
I saw that, but would this be could this be?
It probably could be. I mean, it gets into, again, A&H funds are intended to grow your tourism, to encourage people to come and visit and stay. So, I would somewhat defer to our resident expert on that, Gene, but I don't know that it couldn't be.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Green.
Okay, finally, I get to talk. Did you get the hooky things, so you switch, or the switchy things that you were trying to do? You go down and you switch and you don't have to switch.
You're talking about the Greenbrier East switch?
Yes,
Well, that's in our A&H tax request, Brent, for this year. We've requested that, I think, as our number one item to be funded, and I guess we'll be talking about that at later. But no, so it has nothing's been done on that over the last year. We focused on some other areas of our track where we don't have other funding, and worked on that. And we'll see where we go with the A&H proposed funding. Thank you.
Sir, I guess I'm ashamed to say this much, but I have never dealt with the train or know. How do y'all generate money? How does it work down there? Y'all charge for some train rides, or how do you generate money? Or?
I mean, probably, I'm going to say about 80% of our revenue comes from ticket sales. It comes from the summer trains, it comes from our Easter bunny trains, it comes from our pumpkin patch trains, and then our Santa trains are our big revenue generator. And then the charters that we talked about. To charter, for private charter right now is $1,000 for the first 40 people. Then we charge above and beyond that if we're more than 40. We give schools a break. We give them a $550 discount. So a school, and we get a lot of schools coming to ride. We just rode 125 from Blaney Elementary and over in Elgin the other day. And we've got Geiger Elementary riding, I think, next week. We give them a break, $450 for a charter, and then additional if it's over 40. If it's, say, multiple classes or whatever, it's $10 more per child. We get them, they come. Sometimes they cater in food. Sometimes they bring their own sandwiches and eat on the grounds and then have tours. Just a variety of different activities. We're also getting a lot of senior citizen tours coming in and chartering the trains, and they love it. We have our best time with the senior citizens when they're riding the train.
Okay, no, I've never been on the train, but thank
well,
you.
I will take that as a failure on my part, and I will make sure we remedy that.
But I really appreciate what you do. I hear so much about the railroad, and y'all doing a great job down there. So
Thank you.
The money you asking for is way less, but I appreciate what y'all do.
All right. Yeah, we're just starting.
Anyone else? Mr. Carper?
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, to Mr. Pauly's earlier question, we've been running advertisement for Wings and Wheels and the train ride for almost 2 months. It's already on the website, and we sent multiple press releases to our media partners. And we'll keep doing that until it's over. I'm sorry.
I think he mentioned something about a Veterans Day.
Well, it's the weekend after Veterans Day.
Okay.
We're doing it on Saturday, May the 30th. And I think Memorial Day weekend is the weekend before that.
Okay.
But we call that our salute to veterans. We're advertising that at McIntyre, Shaw, Fort Jackson, several other places over in Georgia too. All right.
Then if you don't mind, are there any other agencies? I know we've got the chamber here. Are there any other agencies that I'm not seeing that are for our outside agencies but not A&H funds? If not, then if you would just roll right into your A&H request.
Well, okay, I'll do that if my voice hangs on. I was not aware that we were going to be doing the A&H tax review today, but I'm certainly prepared to talk about that. Again, I'll start off by saying thank you so very much for the support you've given us in the last 3 years with A&H tax funding. It has truly made a difference to our railroad museum because it was the impetus for a lot of discussion about we got to make it better. And one of the first things we did is we had frankly a heart-to-heart talk about if we're going to be going to the county or we're going to be going to other locations to ask for money, we need to step up as members and we need to help our own railroad get to where it needs to be. So one of the first things we did was started an internal fundraising. And I was floored at how successful that was because that had not been done in a long time at the museum. And we've raised over $160,000 so far among our members to paint those cars. So all the cars that you've seen, there's 3 locomotives, 5 coach cars, 3 cabooses, the dining car, I think that's 12, it's close to 12, was paid for through our fundraiser, through our members, and we're proud of that. But again, starting back in 2023, if we did not have the A&H tax grants money that had been provided, we wouldn't be near where we are now, and we hope to keep that going. Last year, you provided us with $60,000. That was $24,000 for replacement of I think a total of 48 windows in our bi-level cars that we're hoping to get online because they can be used year-round with the air conditioning and heating, and then $36,000 for the advertising. Kind of related to this, the advertising dollars we spent last year, so we didn't have the advertising dollars available to us for this spring for our Easter Bunny Express trains, and we saw the result of that. Our numbers were down a little bit for our Easter trains, so we're kind of excited. We're getting lined back up with what the funding levels are going to be and what the funding timeframes are going to be. We had asked for funding for the Greenbrier East switch that we talked about a few minutes ago. Right now, we're limited to one switch down there. The other switch was pulled out of service by the federal government during an inspection, and we were ready to pull it out. We've, for this year, 26-27, we've got 4 requests, and the number one priority is $120,000 to install that Greenbrier East switch and add 400 feet of siding there. What that does is it allows, when we're running 2 trains at a time for our Santa trains, for our Easter trains, for our pumpkin, is train coming from east to west can pull in on the east switch at Greenbrier and then offload while the other train is coming right back out at the same time. It speeds the turnaround time. But really what it does is it allows more time for the visitors to be on the ground, taking advantage of the activities that we have going on there. It's critical to us to get that switch in to just frankly make us more efficient in getting the trains in and out, and also just being able to take more citizens and ride more patrons in a quicker manner. Our second request is for advertising. The advertising dollars y'all have given us each of the last several years has just paid off in so many different ways, especially the billboards. We get visitors coming in from North Carolina, from Georgia, all the time telling us they saw our billboards over in Augusta, or they saw it in Charlotte, or they saw it in Raleigh. And that has really paid off with helping drive this as a destination, if you will. So the first request is the Greenbrier East switch, $120,000. Second request is advertising, $40,000. The third request is $44,000 for display trains. You've seen these nice, pretty trains and cars that we've painted, and then the patrons come in, the visitors, y'all riding up and down 34, whoever, say, when are y'all going to get around to painting those display cars? That's the front door of your museum. That ought to be the thing that captures the view. And the 44, the steam locomotive up at 34, does capture the people riding by, but as soon as they see those other cars, it's kind of that drab feeling. And we've been wanting to paint those for a while, and we because of the other fundraising that we've done, we decided to include that as part of the A&H tax grant request because it's brought up by so many of the visitors and tourists that come. And then our last request is $33,000 for another set of windows to go upstairs in our bi-levels. Y'all have already funded and it's already been done. All 48 windows were replaced. Ace Glass came in and they did all 48 windows. It's so nice to be able to see through clear windows now rather than fogged up windows. We need to replace the same number of windows upstairs in the bi-level. They're about the same size window, but they're a little more narrow. And we need to get that done. So we have the 4 requests pending for a total of $237,000. And I understand that's a lot. Railroading is an expensive business, as we've all found out, and I'll tell you what we used to buy diesel to last us for 3 months for $3,000. Now it's $5,000 to buy diesel. We'll spend $20,000 on diesel this year. So it's just everything going up. But I appreciate your consideration of those requests, and again, we'll be glad to answer any questions.
Mr. Colvin. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Walker, thank you very much. My grandsons really enjoyed their train rides in the past. So, it's an awesome facility. Did you say there were 3 display trains that needed painting?
Yeah,
okay.
We've got what we call the Norfolk, which was built in 1911. We've got one of the baggage cars that was built in 1927, and the postal car, which is a really historic car, the postal car built in 24, I think it is.
Okay. I'm sure not everybody can paint a train car, but do you have quotes from qualified?
Yeah, that's exactly. Okay. We've used the same person. That's if you're interested in looking at this, go on to Facebook if you do and look up rail car and military equipment painting. He's based out of Ohio. Okay. And he's one of the few people that goes around and actually does the painting outdoors rather than inside a maintenance facility or maintenance shop, if you will. All the cars you've seen up at the Railroad Museum were painted by, his name is Jeff Connor and his crew. and he's the one that gave us the estimate for painting those 3 display cars.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Carpenter?
Just a question. So you run the trains on 5 miles, correct?
I'm sorry?
You have 5 miles of operable track that you run?
Yeah, we actually have control of 11.5 miles, not the half mile on into the Anderson Quarry, but we run on 5 miles. To be real frank with you, it's just we're limited by money somewhat, but we're limited by volunteers. We could run more trains than we do now if we had more volunteers that could help staff those trains. We just don't have the volunteers to keep up 11.5 miles, so we focus on that first 5 miles, which takes us down to just the other side of the old Ryan Quarry Stone Yard.
But the track is usable to the point that if you had the resources, you could theoretically run it 10 miles.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if I'll be around then, but I really do hope that one day, there's some beautiful views in that second 6 miles, if you will. And it'll need some work, and it'll take some dollars to fix it. But
What would it take, or is it even remotely feasible, you said about the steam engine, to actually have steam engine running on the route?
Well, the question on steam engines comes up all the time. And steam engines are very expensive to put together. It would take us $2 million is the latest estimate that we've heard of to fix the 44 and get it back up and running. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. You've got to be able to maintain them. Their maintenance density, they take a lot of maintenance, and we don't have the facilities to do that. In addition, you've got to have the staff that can keep them fired and running the way they need to, because if they're not running, they're shut down and really can't, they're not revenue generating. And then that gets back to the destination issue. It might be that one day if we were running the 11 miles and all of that, but right now our track cannot hold the weight of a typical steam engine. Diesel electric engines we're using right now, 80 tonners, 100 tonners, something like that, a lot less than, some of these big old steam engines that are running around. We'd have to completely redo our track. Now, there's a company in Ohio that has what they call tank engines. They're miniaturized versions of those, and we were leasing those steam locomotives about every 18 months for a 2 to 3 week period, but the owner got sick. His son is not as interested in carrying it over. We hope to reestablish that, to at least bring a steam locomotive, if you will, down, run it for some limited period of time.
All right. It's been a while, but I would recommend anyone that has never been on there to check them out. It's a lot
Thank
of
you.
fun. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it.
Chamber of Commerce?
Good evening, Chairman, Council, and Administration. I hope everybody is doing well this evening. As you may already know, I presented to the A&H Committee back in late February. But just to reiterate, Chamber is not asking for any change in budget this year compared to the 2025-2026 years. We're asking for that same amount of $227,228. And as you know, the Chamber of Commerce is our designated tourism agency, which is a big focus for us. We've got tons of exciting new things going on over there right now, and just to mention, we appreciate the past years, the funding that we've got from you guys, and the funding that's continued. That's a huge support. It means a lot to us. It makes my heart happy being able to see all the folks that enjoy the events that we do at the, all the events we're doing here, and it makes my heart happy that I've got the support from you guys as well. If you guys have any questions regarding this, I'm happy to answer any of them.
Council. Mr. Bell.
Ms. Tina, thank you very much for calling me this week. Stacy, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the executive director.
You're
Nevertheless, thank you for calling me this week. There are, as I stated to you, there are several people in the Jenkinsville. She called me specifically about Jenkinsville and wanted to know if there were any interest in business perspectives or propositions, and there are. And I'm getting that information, and those people lined up so they can contact you for any assistance on the Chamber of Commerce level as to how they can start, whatever. That was very important, and it was interesting to the fact that those two people had called me the day before
Okay, good.
about getting information, and then you called me the next day. So it's all lining up. Again, thank you.
Well, there's some additional information, if you catch me after, that I can share with you that would be very beneficial for them.
All right, thank you. Mr. Rue?
I don't have a question, but I just want to welcome you again. We're glad to have you here and taking care of the chamber and Fairfield County, promoting it, and I think you're going to do a great job. You already are, but thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Anyone else? Mr. Cass?
I know in the previous, I welcome you here, I hadn't had a chance to talk to you. Are we still gonna spread the love with chamber events and everything? Because I just noticed that we've been having it at the Hotel Everett lately. Is we changing some of that?
We are. So our annual gala is going to be held at the at Oakbrook, which is one of the venues we have in Ridgeway. The only reason the first two were held there is those were promised prior to me coming in. So it wasn't intended that all events were being held at the Everett only.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I want to say thank you for everything that you've done as far as helping organize different events. My alumni has an event, and you've been very helpful in helping me to organize that, and I really do appreciate you, and thank you for all you do.
Oh, you are more than welcome.
Anyone else? Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you.
All right, you guys have a wonderful evening, and again, I really appreciate each and every one of you.
Mr. Vance, Parks and Rec?
No.
Good afternoon, Council. Hope y'all are doing well. Know y'all had a long day today, so I'll try to keep this brief as possible. We do have, or Parks and Rec, my name is Lucas Vance, Fairfield County Parks and Rec Director. We do have a tax request, a total amount of $255,000. The bulk of that is to start and finish the construction of the Boykin tennis courts. That's $185,000. Then $30,000 for two scoreboards to be installed at Jolly Park. That would be on fields 1 and 2. $15,000 for some way signage and some non-video message signs to help get our announcements, registration dates, things like that out at our centers. $15,000 for some renovations on all 3 fields at Jolly Park. Last time those fields were laser leveled and had new dirt added was 2019. So we're starting to see some age and wear on those fields, especially on the infield. There's a lip going into the outfield, so it's just time that those are re-leveled, laser leveled, and have some dirt brought in. And then $10,000 for some tables, chairs, and loungers at Fortune Springs Pool. So it's a total amount of $255,000. Should I mention the letter? Okay. So I also wrote a letter to encumber. We had $110,690.99, so roughly $110,000, and we're asking that to be encumbered for next year because those funds were not enough to start the pickleball and tennis court projects. Those bids came in over budget, so we're asking for those to be rolled over into next year and then combine those with the $185,000 on this year's request.
Any questions, Council?
Mr. Vance, I'm definitely in favor because those tennis courts, pickleball courts are in terrible shape. Do you have the last time they were replaced, how long it's been?
So they were resurfaced and repaved. I want to say that was probably 2018-ish. But they have degraded so much over time that when we did our site visit, all the contractors that attended the visit said, you're not going to be able to repave or repatch this. It's too far degraded. It needs to be completely demoed and redone. And so that's why we're seeing this higher cost when we were kind of just patching it up before, and we just can't do that anymore. But I want to say that was 2018 when that was done last.
The package, the request for the tennis courts is 185.
Correct.
And the package shows some bid numbers, over 200, some well over 200. Can you explain, just so I understand, how you came to 185?
Okay, so that 185 is going to be combined with the amount that I'm requesting to be encumbered from this year. So that 185 would be combined with the 110, so that would give us right about $297,000.
You probably just said that, and I apologize for missing it.
No, that's okay. It's been a lot going on with this project, so, but I'd be happy to answer any other questions from council.
I don't have a question, but I just want to thank you for everything you do, man. You wear many hats around here, and I'm real proud that you work for Fairfield County. So
Amen.
I appreciate you, brother.
Well, it's our pleasure.
Lucas, I'm looking at the cost for the umbrellas. How many umbrellas? I see combined umbrellas, tables, and chairs, 10,000. Now look
Yes.
at your last page, umbrella, 3,185.
So the way we got to that cost, it was going to be 18 loungers at a total of $3,023 for the 18 loungers, 5 umbrellas. Those are the heavy duty, also come with the bases. It was $3,185 for those 5 umbrellas. And then there are 5 sets of a table with 4 armchairs. That was $3,099. And that was all from Doheny was the vendor on that.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, if I may also point out to council that several of you had pointed out the way that the Boykin Center appears from the outside. It's the first thing you see when you're coming into town. And in the general fund budget, we do have addressed redoing the outside, repainting the outside, and bringing it up to a much better standard of visual. That doesn't renovate the inside, but it does get the outside so where it's much better looking than it is.
Mr. Shaw. Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Lucas.
Thank you, council. Thank you.
And then last but not least, Gene. Sorry to put you at the end.
That's definitely a no.
Yes, sir.
2 minutes.
Hey, look here. I could do 2 seconds if you want me to. Good afternoon, council. We've spent all day together. It's kind of been fun. So there are 2 requests that we've put in for the local A&H tax funds to do 2 different things in Fairfield County. One of them is actually a drone show. So one thing I've been trying to do for the last couple of years is do like a nice, we don't have like a fireworks display or anything like that around July the 4th time, but just because with town ordinances, you're not allowed to do fireworks in town. So we found a viable option to do a drone show. It's a very patriotic drone show. And what we did was partner with the Chamber of Commerce to actually during their, with it being the first year doing this, drone shows, you almost have to line up for the big holidays almost a year in advance. So we weren't able to secure July 4th. But what we did was partner with the Chamber of Commerce for their June 26th concert to actually do a drone show over the clock during that concert. So basically stop the concert for about 25, 30 minutes and do a big drone show display over the clock. It's kind of cool. It's very patriotic. The chamber has actually come up with the design and been working with that company to do that. That request is actually for $20,000 to do that show. And the other request that you actually have is for a gateway signage project. So back in 2024, the Fairfield County Council actually voted to go ahead and start, basically decided to do gateway signage, and that means when you come into Fairfield County, if you go up and down the interstate, you'll see things, let's say, like welcome to Chester, welcome to Columbia. I actually think City of Columbia just added some recently. But basically, you'll see these entry signs when you on the interstate that welcome you to their community. We don't have those in Fairfield County. So in 2024, Council decided let's go ahead and do something like that. Let's help our branding and different things like that. Let people know that they're coming into Fairfield County and be hospitable. So they set aside $50,000 to do the design of the gateway signage project. And the design has been come up with. That was all presented to the local A&H tax committee. The request is actually for $620,000. This is to build the two signs. The signs would actually go on exits 34 and exit 48. The reason we actually chose exit 34 instead of exit 32 is because the right-of-way on exit 32, it doesn't really allow you any room to put a sign right there. And to be honest, that's not really your main entrance into the county. You're to go into Ridgeway, some people do know the back way into Ridgeway, but a lot of people will actually go in, get off on 34, they'll go to Ridgeway, or they'll go to Winsboro. So that's kind of your main tourist entrance, if you're going to the Railroad Museum or, different areas. So basically, the $620,000 would fund the two signs. So we actually had a preliminary bid. This is not an actual bid process thing, so the price could actually probably be a little bit cheaper once you actually do bids. But this was just a preliminary bid, and the preliminary bid was for $613,000. So the request is for $620,000, just because that bid was done months ago, inflation and different things like that, trying to account for that. But basically, these are funds to move that project forward and to be able to get to gateway entry signs for Fairfield County.
Mr. Stevens, I don't disagree with the project itself. I do disagree, and maybe we can have further discussion on it, that if we're doing it as you come into Fairfield County on 77, I think it would need to be done at the 32 or before you get to the 32. I don't know why we would skip over to 32, and I understand what you're saying about the 34, but I think 32 is also has become a major interchange, and I would just like to include the 32 in it as well.
It is, so we considered 32 first, and basically the reason why we did not choose 32 is because of the fact there's literally no right-of-way there. Like the way that it comes together is very sharp. There's actually nowhere to actually put a sign there, and you can't put it in the middle of the interstate. It has to go actually on the right side. So there's nowhere there or back up to actually put it. So that's the reason why 34 was selected. 34 actually has a little flat panel right there that kind of sits up on the hill when you're going across the bridge. It'll be very prominent right there, but 32, there's literally nowhere to put that sign. That's why that particular exit was chosen.
So the bid you have, is that just for the signs themselves? Is that also for installing the signs? And what about any lighting and powering the signs? So is it going to be hardwired, or is it going to be solar?
So that is actually for installing the sign, like building the signs in those locations, and it includes the lighting and things like that. Now, the actual process of getting power to those locations, that's something that our project manager, Mr. Robert Lathrop, that's not my area of expertise, but he's been working, actually met with a contractor to go out there and see what it would take for us to get power to those locations. But the actual signs themselves, they can actually be built without the power hooked up. Like you'll still have the power capabilities and things like that, and that's the next process of it. This is literally just to pay for the actual building of these signs, getting the power to them and stuff like that. The signs don't actually have to light up, but they look really good when they are lit up. So that's something that Mr. Robert Lathrop is actually working on, and he should have some numbers here pretty soon on what it would cost to actually get power to that location.
Yeah, I think that sounds good, and I agree with Mr. Pauly. I think preferably it'd been better at 32 coming in closer to the line, but, if there's not a good location to put it, then 34 is probably that's the major interchange. So, I mean, if that's what you have to do, you have to do, but I don't know that I can be supportive because you didn't bring any sausage biscuits this morning, man. I'm disappointed with you.
Listen, the chairman told me he was bringing Bojangles. I don't know what happened to the Bojangles, but I was hungry too, so I didn't even eat breakfast in anticipation.
No, he didn't tell you that because I rode with him, and I know that he didn't say that. So
Yeah,
put that on him.
I think he might have forgot about that.
But I think really no. But seriously, the sign. I think the signs are that's a great thing, and I think that'll really be great. The drone idea is good. I think that's good too. So.
And also included, it's not necessarily included in that part, but so trying to find funding for these signs, I've literally reached out to pretty much every organization that exists. Whether it's I've actually talked to Representative or Senator Tim Scott's office. One of their representatives have been helping me trying to find some funding for gateway signage. I've actually reached out to multiple counties to see how they funded theirs. Like Chester County did one about 10 years ago. And I was like, were there any funding opportunities, any grants or different things like that are available for this project? And they were like, no, everything we had to come out of pocket for. I've talked to the Department of Commerce. I've talked to SEPRT. I've talked to our state delegation. I've literally talked to pretty much every organization that you can even imagine to try to get more funding, just some grant funding to kind of kickstart the project, and then we supplement the rest of it. But there is actually no funding available. Now, there is kind of a second phase to this project, and that's wayfinding signs. So these are things that these are signs that would actually kind of look similar, and it's in your packet, that would look similar to the gateway signage, like kind of built with it has the Winsboro granite and different things like that in it. But basically, those signs would go up in about 15 strategic places around the county that would point you into different directions. Your big tourism spots like your Carolina Adventure World, your Palmetto Trail, your South Carolina Railroad Museum, Lake Wateree, Lake Monticello, your towns, Winsboro, Jenkinsville, Ridgeway. That's kind of like a phase 2 for that project. But with that project, there are funds that are available to actually fund those projects. There are certain things that SCDOT provide that would actually provide for wayfinding signs. That's something that it's kind of like I said, it's a phase 2. So it's not just the gateway signage and we're done. It would be gateway signage and then also the wayfinding signs as well.
We're going to gift you with a watch.
A watch?
That was the longest 2 minutes I've seen.
Technically, my battery's dead, so I'm on time. I'm just saying.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody any other questions?
Yep.
Awesome.
So, Mr. Chairman, and Gene, just for go, if you could, I don't know how many of you have ever seen a drone show, but they are just one of the coolest things you've ever seen. Could you send a link to council?
Yes.
Showing some drone shows?
I actually have our design. We've worked with the company to go ahead and kind of formulate a design because we had to do it for time purposes. But I can actually send you all the link of the design that we have, and it actually. So basically, it'll go right above the town clock, and it's something we've never done in Fairfield County, and it's really cool. We have different designs, like it builds the town clock in a drone. Like you have lights that show the town clock. It's very patriotic to kind of celebrate to tie in with all the 250th celebration, and it also showcases the history of Fairfield County. So it's something to be really cool, and it'd be kind of nice, and it doesn't violate our firework ordinances, and it won't scare all the puppies.
Mr. Courtney, you woke him up again.
Well, I'm sorry. I would also just, as an ending to this conversation then, I would say that to my knowledge, this would be the only drone show in the Midlands. So it really has, because these are very cool, and they're, 30 years from now, there won't be many fireworks shows, but they'll be all drone shows. So we're getting in early.
I'll add, the Fireflies do a drone show. So the Fireflies do a drone show for their games, but other than that, there's not really any other ones. Like you have your big 4th of July fireworks show out at Lake Murray and different things like that, so you have big fireworks shows. But as far as drone shows, matter of fact, I worked with the Fireflies because I talked to, they're the ones that gave me the contact for Open Sky. Thank you all.
I just want one question. Hello. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is the entertainment that night?
I don't know. The chamber's the one that puts that concert on, so I'm not sure. Is Stacy? Do y'all know the band for that night?
Southern Reflection is the,
For the June 26th? Southern Reflections. It's a good band. It's a very good band, very entertaining.
That's Robbie Smith. They good.
Yeah. So we decided to basically partner together with the chamber and add the drone show as another feature, just to do something. Like I said, we couldn't do it around July 4th, but we're actually going to try to probably next year, if this goes through, plan on actually doing July 4th, but we'd have to schedule that, almost tomorrow.
The next person asks him a question, it's going to get him in trouble.
Weren't you supposed to take us to Halls after on the meeting this morning?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Okay,
you.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, we get a motion to, okay, the motion that we adjourn. If there's no questions, prepared to vote. All in favor? The record shows 7-0. Thank y'all.